this week's game against 3-1 Pitt. So, Coach, if you could start us out with some remarks, and then we'll open it up for questions.
I appreciate it, Mike. Again, really proud of the guys, the way they played Saturday night. When we took on that series to play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that was the vision that I had in my head for the program. The guys came out there, played really, really hard. I thought our fan base, our student body, showed up loud and showed up proud, and our guys gave them a lot to be excited about, a lot to be proud of. So it was a great environment. I know the optics of it looked good against a really good team. To play at such a high level in front of our fans in downtown Atlanta, a ton of recruits. Obviously, I can't talk specifically, but just the recruits see that and knowing that we have 5 more years of playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's really, really cool. But excited to be back in Bobby Dodd Stadium at noon on Saturday against a really good Pitt team. Players of the week for us, offensively, Jeff Sims came in, handled the last 3 weeks like a pro, and then came in, I think, early second quarter and had a great night. So really proud of him. Jaquez Jackson again had a big-time night, 10 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, a 23-yard fumble return. And then on top of that, at the same position, Charlie Thomas was ACC Linebacker of the Week. Another monster performance by Charlie. Just love how those two complement each other. Charlie's playing the overhang and Quez is playing the will, and they just leverage the ball back and forth between them and Ace. 2 weeks ago, gassed up the fact that it was the first time in 5 years that we had 4 linebackers have over a 600 player load in a game. And that includes Demetrius Knight, who's a monster on special teams for us and on defense. We had 4 linebackers hit over 700 yards player load Saturday night, just shattering the previous record that we had. So just proud of the way they play, how hard they play. Special teams-wise, Brent Samaglia, great night, great performance, field goals, PATs. He's just a pro out there, just really proud of him, how he's handled everything since he's been here. And then the other one of note is a true freshman special teams player of the week is Josh Robinson. He plays our left tight end on PAT field goal unit. He's a true freshman defensive end. He's 6'6", he's 260. Is playing a lot for us on defense. Has the unenviable task of lining up at the left tight end, which is probably one of the hardest, most selfless positions in all of college football and even pro football. And he does it with pride. Then he comes out on the pump block unit and makes adjustments. They shifted formations, which they had never done before. Josh made the adjustment, forced the pull-up on the rugby, and they had really good performances. Developmental players of the week, Jamal Haynes again put on a show, got added to the depth on special teams. Didn't see time yet, but the way he practices, it's only a matter of time until he starts getting some burn for us. Zende Ray got his first tackle for us on kickoff. Gavin's been doing a ridiculous job booming the things out of the end zone. There were 2 that were in play, and Derek Allen made one of them. Azende Ray made the other one. It was really good to see him contribute on special teams and what he did on the developmental unit. Jakiah Leftwich, Chaden Peary had a really nice week trying to replicate one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. The only thing is we get to play the other one this Saturday right out here in Bobby Dodd Stadium, so he's doing a good job replicating Pitt's quarterback, who's a really good player. Defensively, Sarod Bryant, proud of how he's coming along. Nate Moon, Kaya Wright are 2 of the names as well. Some moments really proud of from Saturday. I already talked about the fans, the impact that they had in the game. Our guys have matured as a team. It's far less rah-rah and silliness. We're a very focused, mature team, but they still feed off the energy from the fans. And it was really good to see them out there. Dante's run, one of my favorite moments, Dante's run that got blown dead. The response to that from our team was amazing. We were over it, whatever opinions we might have had. We were quickly over worrying about our opinions and just put the ball down and played. And we scored on that drive. We got a first down, I think 1 or 2 plays later. Went down and scored, and I will never forget the poise that Jeff Sims had in the huddle as we were talking through it with the officials, who did a great job, by the way, all night. Talking through, and Jeff said, "Hey, fellas, it doesn't matter. We're going to score anyway. Let's just worry about scoring. Let's just worry about moving the ball." That would not have happened a year ago, myself included. So just really proud of how far we've come as a program, worrying about what's next, not worrying about things that are outside of our control, and just putting the ball down and playing. After the game, we come into the locker room, talk to the guys, then Coach Choice leads us in the fight song, and seeing Jordan Yates, Trad Beatty, Jeff Sims celebrating together in that locker room, it's special. That does not happen in a lot of places in college football, where guys are battling and competing and sharing time, but they still love each other, they still work together, they still believe in each other, and that's really cool to see. So just so proud of that entire quarterback room: Jordan Yates, Jeff Sims, Trad Beatty, Demetrius Knight does so much for us, special teams, defense, just so proud of him. Who he is in this program, how he's handled things. Obviously, everybody saw that got tripped up on his way to a score, but just everybody had his back. The offense, I think, scored 2 plays later and dapped him up and loved him. We love that kid so much, and he's made big-time plays for us in this program. That was a big-time play, and he's going to have plenty more opportunities to score defensive touchdowns or special teams touchdowns moving forward. But the response from our team, the response and support for him as a friend, a teammate, somebody they love and care for, is special. Last thing, and then I'll open it up to questions. So after the game, and invariably after a win, come get to talk, have the pleasure and honor of talking to you guys. Then Mike had me on the ACC Network, and then I'm on something else, and then I was on something else. So it was probably a good 45, 50 minutes from the end of the game, celebrating with the team, until I got back into the locker room. Had to go see recruits, went and saw my wife and daughter, went back into the locker room 45, 50 minutes after the game was over. And one of the cool principles that we have in our program is we leave everywhere we go better than we found it. We do it every day today in the locker room. It'll be cleaned up by the time. It'll be spotless when we get down there. If we go to the movie theater, it's going to be spotless when we leave. Leave everywhere you go better than you found it. 45 minutes after the game, I come back into the locker room. J.P. Mason, Ryan Johnson, Jaquan Griffin have trash bags, and they're helping our equipment staff clean up the locker room. The guys had done a good job with it, but they stayed behind and cleaned up the locker room. That just doesn't happen. And the little things, the attention to detail, those core values that we have, just really proud of our guys buying into them, applying them. The little details matter. I think penalty yards were top 15, top 13, whatever Mike says, in the country. Turnover margin, we're top 12 in the country. Those little things matter. Our guys are embracing it. They're buying into it. They're having some modicum of success with it. And now we just got to get ready to play a big-time opponent here on Saturday, Bobby Dodd Stadium, Grant Field, high noon. Questions?
Questions for Coach Collins? Please take a microphone. We'll start over here with Rob.
Geoff, you face another high-powered offense in Pitt. You have skilled players like Hammond, Addison, and Pickett. How do they compare with what you faced the week before?
They're really, really good. Offensive line, I think it starts up front. They're very big, very physical, very well coached. The full complement of receivers, they can all hurt you. And they've done it all year long. We've seen them in person last year. And the quarterback just makes plays, knows where to go with the football, makes really good decisions. And then he just has a knack for keeping plays alive. And they have a really good scheme. A lot of multiplicity within their scheme. But then they've got elite playmakers all around. And arguably one of the top quarterbacks in the entire country pulling the trigger. So it's a huge challenge. Our guys understand that, and they know that they've got to prepare every single day to be able to play at a high level against one of the top one or two offenses in the country.
Kelly?
Geoff, what are a couple of things you've learned about your team a third of the way through the season now that you maybe didn't know at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, how much they truly love each other, how much they really want to be great. They handle adversity. They play ridiculously hard. I mean, I think anybody that watches us play, that's obvious. But they're playing for each other, not just with each other, and that's a huge difference. And you can just see it. We had a really good practice today. And again, you guys have been out there before when it's been all rah-rah and all flash and show. It's not that way. They just come out there, they get to work, they're focused, they've got really good energy, they've got really good vibes, but it's about business. And it's really cool to see, and just really proud of them. I truly and genuinely, I say it all the time, I love that team, love the locker room, love the leadership in our program. The way they handled getting out to practice today, starting practice today. I didn't really have to say much other than, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing it, and we gave them the plays, and they went out and executed and competed and battled, and we just got to continue to do that to continue to work to be a really good team.
Ken?
Question for you about Charlie Thomas.
Yep.
In the shift to playing 3-3 and just overall the defense, how much has his ability to do a lot of different things for you impact what you guys can do?
Yeah, he is a big-time player. We put him out in space a lot, and we pressure, we blitz him a lot, and he just is such a good football player. In space, spatial awareness, he's a competitor, he's tough, and just his development as a young man in our program over the last 2.5 years is special. It is noticeable. Everybody that's associated with the program, you can see it, you can feel it. Last night we had career day, a career fair over at McCamish, and Miss Leah Thomas, who does a great job as our head nutritionist and runs our total person program, she sends me a picture of Charlie Thomas at McCamish networking with different people. And I sent him a text last night just how proud I am of him. He's a great player. But who he is as a person is so special. And those things, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. And he's learning that. He's got a process. He's got a demeanor. He grabbed the mic from Coach Lou. You guys probably saw it. He grabbed the mic from Coach Lou today at the beginning of stretch and got the guys going. Nobody told him to do that. He just wanted us to have a really good practice. He knew he was going to have a really good practice. A year ago, 2 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. But who he is right now, he's respected by his teammates. Obviously, he's respected by us as a coaching staff for his development. So I'm just big-time player, but just the young man that he's becoming too is just it's why you do this, and it's awesome to see.
Coach, of course, injuries and has affected the quarterback play. Well, of course, you guys have seen to manage it well and found a role for both players. How would you just describe the way Sims and Gates have handled the whole situation?
Yep. They're awesome. I mean, if you had a blueprint for how to handle a situation that's a position that, have some guys go in and out, and how to handle it, that would be how you would write the book, how you would write the chapter, is how Jeff Sims, how Jordan Yates, how Trad Beatty, how Dave Patnode have handled this entire situation. And because, let's be honest, a lot of times it can become toxic. It never has. They're unbelievable young men, tremendous families, and they've just done it the right way. They pull for each other. They compete out there on the field, and then they still dap each other up when each of them makes big-time throws. There were some throws today that were freaking ridiculous, and they're the ones that are celebrating with the other one first. That doesn't happen, but it happens here, and it's really cool to see the bonds, the relationships that they have too. And I'm just really proud of them. The thing that we've stressed since we've gotten here, we don't worry about starters. We don't worry about backups. Everybody in our program that's ATL should be preparing like they're going to play a ton. And when two players at that position embody it, embrace it, you've got something special, because then everybody else does. And then Trad Beatty's the same way. Trad, prepares and knows the game plan inside and out like he's one of our coaches, how well he knows it. And, that kind of bleeds over into every other position, and that's why we have 24 to 27 defensive players that can play in a game. And people say, man, y'all fly around and y'all play so fast. Well, yeah, you can, because you've got somebody else that can come in and is going to play at a high level too. And I think that just permeates the entire organization, and the quarterback position is important. And if they can example and reflect exactly the values that you're preaching, it's really good. So really, really proud of that room.
Your defense, I think they've only given up maybe it's 2 touchdowns a game on the full field, which is incredible considering kind of how far it's come along. Kind of what do you, I guess, give credit to? What are you seeing that's working so well for the defense right now?
There's a lot. I think, first got to give credit to Coach Thacker and our defensive staff. They've done a tremendous job. They let me help a little bit, but they just do a tremendous job with the scheme, the nuances, the wrinkles, the things that we do to really make it click and to make it unique to us. And then obviously the players have done a tremendous job buying in, learning everything, going out and playing ridiculously hard, rolling guys through. So I think that's been a huge component of it. And, we've just got to continue to get better, and just really proud too. So here's what we do at practice today too, or every day, is we'll keep about, let's say, of the ATL, we won't keep the full ATL down to go against the developmental team. The guys that aren't playing the first, 10% of the game, they'll always start on the development squad going against our ATL offense every practice. So we've got that look squad is ridiculous. And it's real dudes down there going against other real dudes, and it's really cool. The development, the competitiveness, and all of those things are evaluated to see who gets the most burn on Saturdays. They take pride in it. They understand that their playing time is reflective on how they practice, how they prepare, and they take pride in it. It's really, really cool.
Having both your coordinators on the sideline now,
Yep.
does that change your approach to the game as far as getting calls in a little quicker, that type of thing?
I think the tempo that we're playing with offensively, and I think Dave has gotten in a real good groove of understanding who we are and what we can really do. We're huddling and then shifting, we're tempoing, all of those things. Just the way he's calling a game, and the input from Ricky and Tashard and Carey and Wheezy have been really good. The communication is at a high level. We've stressed the multiplicity of signal callers or signalers, both offensively and defensively, and the signalers are doing a good job. But I do think the communication piece has been really good, having Dave on the sideline, and he's doing a tremendous job with our offense, calling the game, getting input from the other assistants that do a tremendous job. So just really happy with them.
Got time for a couple more for Coach. Start with Anthony.
Coach, going into the UNC game, one of the things you stressed a lot was just being able to finish the games to get a big win. As you go into this game versus Pitt, obviously ACC matchup, fight for a coastal title division. What are some things that you're stressing in this game in particular?
Yep, so the thing that our guys have finally bought into, we've said it for 2 years, play one play at a time, play one series at a time, play in one technique at a time. We've said it for 2 years. The Clemson game, it finally clicked, and they did it. They played one play at a time, they played one series at a time, they played one technique, one assignment at a time. Then they did it again versus UNC. They didn't make the game bigger than it needed to be. It was already big enough. The Mercedes-Benz mayhem at MBS and our hot uniforms and our cool shoes, all of that stuff is tight, but they try to make the game as small as possible. Focus on your assignment, focus on your technique, understand what you're doing on every individual play, and then figure out what you have to do on the next play. Put that play to bed, put the ball down, and let's go. And it's a principle that we've tried to impart for 2 years, but it finally clicked, and it's got to continue to do that, especially with a team like this coming into the game, just staying in the moment, one play at a time. all of those things that we tell our guys, but now our guys are saying that to each other and teaching the young guys that it's real and this is the way we have to play the game. It's not easy, right? Because everybody wants to get caught up in big picture. Kelly Quinlan, Saturday night, 8 minutes after the game, is asking me about big picture things. So that's human nature. I get it, and Kelly has to ask that. He's really good with what he does. But we try to make it as small, as focused as possible. Because if we just take care of one play at a time, one series at a time, one day at a time, you've got a chance to be good. So that's what we're working on every day to do.
Ken, if you want to wrap us up, please.
I think overall the red zone offense is you're scoring more and more frequently.
Sure.
Obviously, the first 2 drives you get first and goal on the 10, and then
Yep.
later on first and goal on the 5, and the same thing that happened with Clemson. Obviously, you're playing tough defenses, but
Yep.
what are things you see that can get you in the end zone?
Yeah, and the tempo piece, we did some tempo plays when we got down there this past week, and that's kind of our DNA. It's really, been really good for us, really effective for us. So just got to continue to stress it. We did it today. We actually ended practice with short yardage, goal line, 2-point. Tomorrow will be a huge red zone day. So the emphasis on it, the guys understand, and just the plan and some different things that we're going to do package-wise. I think we're finally to a place with the roster. I'm not going to give too much away. That the crossover piece is about to be a big piece of like what we had at Temple. We had some good things that we did there, getting bigger bodies onto the field, and even if you have to use some defensive players, you do that. But it's pretty cool the things that we're able to do now. Just the guys have such a good feel of what we're doing both sides of the ball that you can put Josh Robinson on PAT field goal, you can put Jared Ivey on PAT field goal. The crossover things you can do, which I don't know if we had the body types in the past. We do now, and there's such a foundation and baseline of what we do that we can do those kind of things. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.